The idea of expression in philosophy, particularly in Deleuze's exploration of Spinoza's ideas, is a key theme. In Spinoza's philosophy, expression revolves around how thoughts and external bodies are interconnected. Deleuze delves into how ideas express this interplay between inner thoughts and external realities, particularly focusing on what makes an idea adequately represent the essence of a thing. According to Deleuze's interpretation of Spinoza, the solution to this lies in the radical principle of parallelism. This means that the expressive nature of an idea is inherent in things themselves. Deleuze draws inspiration from Stoic philosophy, especially the theory of the incorporeal nature of sense. The concept of expression is not limited to classical philosophers like Spinoza. Deleuze extends it to collaborative works with Guattari on language, described as order words and collective assemblages of enunciation. He also explores the epistemological nature of power in Foucault's work. So, what does it mean to express an idea in this context? Expression signifies the power of understanding to articulate itself. Deleuze highlights that the material of the idea is found in an expressive content, connecting it to other ideas or to the idea of God. This perspective differs from Descartes' view, where the clarity and distinctness of an idea's property are crucial. In Deleuze's framework, there is no traditional subject-object divide in the act of understanding. The idea of understanding, its object, and the power of the act are identical. Understanding comprehends itself, expressing its essential property known as substance. The content of understanding is defined as a mode, which is necessarily infinite. Deleuze often uses the phrase, "the attributes turn about in their modes," to describe this determination. Having an adequate idea, according to Spinoza, does not mean a matching between an object and its representing idea. Instead, it signifies the idea's power to fully unfold the essence of something, involving a knowledge of the cause and expressing it. Deleuze explores the concept of expression in philosophy, especially in the philosophies of Spinoza and Leibniz. In simple terms, expression involves adequately representing the cause or essence of something. Like a physician connecting symptoms to diagnose an illness, Deleuze emphasizes that only adequate ideas, being expressive, provide knowledge through causes or a thing's essence. In Spinoza and Leibniz philosophies, expression relates to God expressing himself in the world with true ideas, expressing both God and the world. Deleuze sees two key applications for the concept of expression: ontology, dealing with the expression of God and the world, and logic, concerning what propositions express. In Spinoza's logic, attributes function as verbs, influencing Deleuze's later concept of becoming. For example, becoming woman signifies a process of modification. The Stoic theory of the incorporeal, distinguishing between the sense of bodies and the sense of statements, informs Deleuze's understanding of a third sense, the event of sense itself. Deleuze introduces a paradox in his work The Logic of Sense with the phrase "the tree greens." This paradox brings together two planes, expressing the difference without circular reasoning. The sense exists within the proposition, acting as a frontier between propositions. While the event of sense is connected to language, it is not purely linguistic. The frontier exists on both sides, distinguishing itself from the sense in each order. This difference, according to Deleuze, constitutes the sense of sense itself. Shifting to the distinction between code and language, a bee has a code for encoding signs, but it lacks language. Humans engage in free indirect discourse, which Deleuze and Guattari emphasize as the primary determination of language in their work A Thousand. Deleuze and Guattari emphasize a crucial distinction in language, challenging the notion that individuals are the masters of their chosen words. They argue against the existence of individual enunciation, stating that language is essentially social, driven by statements and order words. Individuals don't speak independently, they repeat, emphasizing the redundancy of statements and the subjectivity of speech acts. The subject is an effect within language, shaped by redundancy and determining communication's intersubjectivity. The collective assemblage of enunciation involving acts and statements plays a key role in their language theory, where language's primary meaning is social. To explain the collective assemblage and the causality of redundancy in statements and order words, they revisit this theory of expression. This theory posits simultaneous incorporeal transformations at the level of statement, sense, and the level of bodies. An extra being between statement, sense, and real bodies determines transformations instantaneously. This logic addresses transformative events at both surface and depth. Assemblages of enunciation don't merely speak of things but simultaneously operate on the levels of things and contents. Statements like "you are no longer a child," "you are no longer a child," or "you are only a girl" introduce incorporeal transformations, shaping bodies as social meanings. Attributes like black or white express meaning based on the statement's enunciation, subjecting bodies to an order. In Guattari's framework, society is formed by order words attributing meaning to bodies, shaping their individuation and alignment with social meanings. Society depends on the nature and transmission of order words. It's characterized by these words defining interactions among bodies, actions, and passions. True expressiveness in language occurs when it conveys real attributes directly to bodies and social states. They argue that transformations, though impacting bodies, remain incorporeal within enunciation. For instance, saying "I declare war" has a variable in the situation propelling the social field into transformation. Variables of expression relate language to an outside yet remain immanent. The order word is seen as an extra being, not solely from linguistic categories, expressing the statements as sense and intervening in the states of bodies. The order word, as per Deleuze and Guattari, is not language in all its functions, but what effectuates its conditions of possibility or the superlinearity of expression. It makes language expressive of immanent sense on the plane of bodies, turning it into a normative order referring to real transformative events on the plane of being. Deleuze and Guattari discuss the connection between the problem of expression and the abstract process integral to the power of philosophy. They introduce a diagram with 4 levels illustrating how content involving bodies and their states and expression, enunciation, acts, statements, and transformations linked to bodies are affected by territorial and deterritorialization. Language's dependence on abstract machines challenges modern linguistics, which separates it from the social side of meaning. The interpretation of language and the social field is deemed fundamental at the deepest level of the abstract machine. In addressing the question of what does it mean to express an idea pragmatically, Deleuze and Guattari explore the conditions necessary for an idea to be transformative at the level of sense and as an event intervening in states of affairs and bodies. They delve into the causality of the incorporeal transformation of sense in acts, statements, and bodies. The origin and causality of new order words are investigated through political pragmatics, focusing on the variation of order words and non-corporeal attributes tied to social bodies. Deleuze often refers to there will be a naval battle tomorrow to inquire about the internal factors causing a sentence to express the sense of a date or an order word. Despite this exploration, there is a constant shift from order words to the silent order of things, exemplified in Foucault's examination of power relations, designating that other thing, passing between discursive statements and non-discursive visibilities. Power, identified as an extra being at the frontier of propositions and bodies, produces a relation to truth, making it a knowledge problem. Power produces truth, enabling us to see and speak, with the concept of power associated with an extra being at the frontier of propositions and bodies, introducing a relation to truth as a problem. This highlights the complexity of their interplay in Deleuze and Guattari's philosophical discourse.